Wow. Wow. Otto Scott, how you doing?
Good, good. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Well, it's the occasion of World Book Day, and we're opportune to have a fine mind like you on the book show. How do you feel being an author and a poet?
um, some days it's surprising, to be honest with you.
And some days it is amazing and
Yes,
honorable.
yes. Some days it's
Wow,
amazing
wow.
things happen, and you see things in that you've written, and you know, it's uh,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah, it's good.
So I just like you to talk about your writings, your writings. What keeps you
Okay.
going? What's your inspiration? How do you think you wake up? I feel you're so amazing, so awesome.
Um, man, I appreciate that. I don't know. I just like to create. There's always another story bouncing around in my head. I get I open the one story up and start writing and kind of see where the story leads me and kind of take things from, outside events and, people in my
Yeah.
life and then kind of put it all together and see how the story grows. Sometimes, like the Blue series I'm doing now is supposed to be a trilogy and it's going to be 4 books because I couldn't quite get it done in three.
Wow, wow. Well, this podcast is designed to help use your good office and authority to inspire and make a committed reader or creative out of every global person. So I'd like you to talk about your apprentice years. When did you grow to this mastery? How was it like growing up? Were you the significant reader? How just go on.
Yeah.
When did you think you became very intentional about being a lifelong learner?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the country. We didn't have cable, so I learned to read at a young age, and read books constantly. Could never have enough of them. My wife, she's a huge reader, so we have, I think it's considered a library now. I think we have over 1,000
Wow,
books in the house now, so I think we're actually considered a
wow,
library.
wow. So you had a woman that reads. Amazing. So I,
Yep.
I know where your muse is coming from. Wow, so beautiful. Go on, go on.
Yeah. So, I never really looked to being a writer, but when I was like, so about 7 years ago, I was 38, and just, I don't know, had a discussion with my son about some stuff, and had this like story kind of
Hmm.
stuck in my head, so I started writing it down, and now 7 years
Wow,
later, I'm working on the fourth book in it. So, um,
wow, wow.
yep,
So your son was your inspiration. So
yeah.
invariably, your books can be read by every manner of person. So tell us about your books. Who are your target audience? What problems are you trying to solve? Have you been featured in several maybe anthologies? Are you an award-winning writer? Tell us about what you're doing
Well,
in this.
so yeah, so just getting started. I do have my book has been put in for a couple awards. Haven't won anything yet at this time. Um,
Mm,
I've got a couple anthologies in the works. Nothing that's been printed yet. But the main series that I have is the Blue series. It's a young adult post-apocalyptic story.
mm,
It has a little bit of an alien overlay, a little bit of
mm,
undead zombie overlay to it. But the main part of the story is about a young girl. She's 17, out been on her own for over a year when the story starts, and it's just about her trying to find her way in this new world where there's no electricity, no communications, no
mm.
nothing like that. Running from people that want to take, and these creatures that this alien spore has created. But the main part of the story, really, I mean, all of that is the action part and the catch. But the main part of the story is just how she grows, how she starts out very, very pessimistic about the world, staying away from people and not trusting anybody, and then coming around and being part of something again, and trying to help cure the world, I guess, is the way.
Wow.
And not just the
Wow.
the
Wow.
creatures, but just the society in general.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Author Scott Sky. So how do we get to find your books? How do we get to read your book? Is it on Amazon, Novel
Yeah,
and Barnes?
actually, I I print on Amazon KDP, so everything I have is on Amazon and ebook and paperback. I also print with the distributor Ingram Spark, so you can actually find my books at thrift books, online, Walmart, Target, pretty much any of the major retailers have it. It's all digital. It's all the ebooks. I think you can order print on demand paperbacks also through them. But
Wow.
yeah, pretty much anywhere you look for books online, it should be. I actually saw somebody selling my books on eBay the other day. So
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Well, on this show, we are going to add your Amazon link on our podcast
okay,
notes so our streamers and listeners can have access to your
well, that'd
books.
be awesome.
And yeah, so Otto Scott, we are a podcast community that is designed to inspire and make a committed reader out of every global person. So for you, who is a lover, a father, a husband, and a poet, I like you. What would be your significant thought on the idea of books and reading?
Um, I mean, it's for me, like I said, the books are have always been huge for everything. I mean, they're a way to entertain, a way to learn, a way. I mean, even fiction books, you learn from fiction books. You don't have to read nonfiction to learn from books.
Yeah,
It'll expand your language. It'll expand your understanding of people in the world. Um,
yeah.
and I think the more people understand about the world outside of themselves, the better this world becomes, because then people can understand something that not just how they were raised or what they were raised to look at, but more of how the world really is.
So do you think that the books and the reading culture can help solve some problems the world is currently facing as an author of authority and an advocate of reading?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's anything that brings people together. I mean, any type of book that you read, or any, there's always somebody from some other culture, some other race, religion, or whatever that also enjoys that book. I mean, anything that you can connect to other people with and build a community off of is always going to make the world better and help solve problems.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, we have this part of the show where every creative and every author on the show would have to name 10 books that would probably stay with them. But I did make our audience a promise that we would have you read from some of your amazing masterpiece. So I like you to
Okay.
choose which one would you love to come first. But before you do, I like to talk to our audience.
Okay.
Wow, this is Otto Scott Skies. We've been up to Otto Scott Skies on the one student, one book, one author mantra. Well, on the occasion of World Book Day, Otto Scott Skies is sharing his thoughts on the significance of reading, and he's hoping that you would want to look up to yourself as one of the problem solving agents or tools humanity needs by becoming a lifelong learner and being an avid and elliptical reader. While Otto Scott is going to be reading from his masterpiece. Of course, he's a poet, and we're going to be having some amazing moments, I can promise. Otto Scott, are you there?
Yep.
So, are you going to play or take the chance naming that would probably stay with you, or you're going to be reading from your mastermind and get masterpiece? Which of them would come first?
Um, let's we can I can name 10 books that would stick with me.
Wow, amazing, amazing, awesome, awesome. That's the most fun part of the show because pick our audience into some of the amazing, amazing libraries you've been to, amazing books, amazing characters, and let's see how many of them would have books in common with you. I'm sure you're reading.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, you're naming
so one
10
of the
books,
books.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Take it easy,
So
take
one
it
of the
easy,
first books that always.
easy, take it easy, take it easy. Okay, okay, we are going to be counting it on you, and you're going to be talking about the ones that click with you, but we need a name and the name of the author. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, go on.
All right. So one of the books that always stuck with me is sci-fi is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card.
Hmm. Okay, that would be number one.
Yep. Then we've got Belgarath the Sorcerer going into fantasy realm. That was who is the author there? I think it's a couple. I'm trying to.
Hmm. Do you have your wife? I'm sure she's going to help.
It's David and Leah Eddings. That's who it was.
Oh, amazing. That would be number two.
Yeah. Um, so then I've always liked the first three books in the uh, Harold Mage series by Mercedes Lackey, Magic's Pawn.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
that would be the first one, but that whole series right there, with Mercedes Lackey, was always a real big one. Another fantasy read.
Hmm. So would that go for number three?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Go on.
um, I'll tell you, I kind of have to go back to some of the ones I know a lot of people like is the Harry Potter series, the Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Um,
Okay, that's number four.
let's go with the Maze Runner series by James Dashner.
Oh, when you're calling series, so you have so many books in one.
Yeah, yeah. But the Maze Runner was the first one. Yeah.
Okay, go on, go on. So I'll let that slide for number five.
All right. Um, let's see. What am I trying to think? Trying to stay away from the same authors over and over because there were so many books by
Yeah,
some of the authors that I love.
yeah.
Um, I'll
Well,
tell you one good book.
let's talk about the books you loved, so we can take no matter the author, maybe five or three. Then
Mhm.
maybe you can add one neutral author. Yeah. Let's talk about the ones that really stick and click with you.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I'm trying to. Uh, the I Am Number Four by Pittacus Lore. That was a nice
Okay.
sci-fi book that I one that actually kind of shows up in my writing a little bit is Maximum Ride by James Patterson.
Wow.
So I see his the writing show up in mine. The kind of style show up quite a bit. So that was especially that book in particular, with it being the young adult,
So
the
I
same type
imagine
of
you have
idea.
three books left, three books,
Mhm.
and I like you to be very meticulous.
Okay. Um, another book that rings with me quite a bit, and I actually, like I said, my writing style is very similar to it. Is the Fifth Wave?
Well, let's talk about your writing style. Let's talk about your writing style. So, to start, how do you write? What's your style like? What are we expecting?
Sorry, I kind of lost you there for a second. What was that?
I said, let's talk about your writing style.
Okay.
What are we expecting? What kind of writer would you say you are?
Uh, I'm I make take everything very quickly. My writing's very action paced, very fast paced. Kind of moving from one thing to another. Don't get really bogged down in a lot of details, but it keeps the story
Mm.
moving, and there's a lot of depth to the story without getting bogged down into exactly what a character looks
Uh,
like or something like that.
so, so what book would you say you could?
Not really, not really sure on that one. Hello, you there? Not sure what's going on with my phone.